Welcome back. Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Reed. Today I got a special guest, somebody that I've known for a while. Like, it's funny because I was hooping with him, and this is literally what happened. I was hooping with him when my life changed, when I got injured and I missed a year of hooping overseas. I got my then girl at the time pregnant with my son, my baby's mama pregnant with my son. And like I said, my life was changed forever. You know what I'm saying? He was there and actually saw me get hurt and everything. So like I said, that's a crazy little side story between us. But he was a hell of a hooper. Somebody that I just met up at another friend of mine's party, 40th birthday. We're getting old. So he was turning 40. So it's like, you know, man, we were just talking about it off air, everybody, that we were like, man, it's 12:30, man. Like, I'm getting kind of sleepy. You know what I'm saying? It's time to go back home. When you're young, you like, oh man, I can go all night. When you're older, like, yeah, man, about 12:30, 12:45 might be that time to roll. So but please introduce yourself to the people. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, appreciate it, Travis. I am Sheldon Bailey, Big Shell Bailey, actor, basketball player, rapper, marketing genius, all around sports and entertainment entrepreneur, though, for sure.
A man of many talents. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. Yep, I am. But basketball and movies were my first loves for sure. And I've been on this journey for a while now.
No, I got you. I got you. Now,
hmm
now, Sheldon, man, quick question for you. We're gonna just start it off. How did your journey start?
Okay, I was born in Germany to two U.S. Army parents. So my parents were serving in the army, and I was born over there. And I stayed in Germany till I was about like 5 years old. And the first place I moved was in San Antonio, Texas. But at the same time, I'm moving from Germany. My parents also divorced as well, so it was a life changing times. But my father was a hooper in the army. He had played junior college, and then he passed up a couple D1 offers to join the army. And so my first early memories, are like being in the gym with my dad Saturday mornings, him hooping, him playing, in the German league over there, being in the army, and then playing in like a lower division team, as a kid. So basketball was always connected to me, and I grew to be really tall early. And
Mhm.
so, but I wasn't good at basketball first, and actually soccer was my first sport. My mom is Jamaican. I was born in Germany, so soccer was around. And plus, she wanted me to like get my footwork better and things like that. So it was soccer first, because I sucked at basketball. I just wasn't good. And then it was like I had a lot of social pressure to be good because I was like a freaking giant, and I just wasn't good. And I'm in San Antonio. There wasn't really that many black kids around where I was at, and I was like this freaking giant, and I couldn't hoop. So, but but things changed, and I started growing into my body whenever I moved with my father. In
hmm
third grade, he encouraged, the athletics and was pushing me and started like actually working on my skills. So by the time I got like fourth, fifth grade, I started excelling and really, becoming athletic and turning into a basketball star, to be honest with you. And
Wow.
then by the time I got to high school, I was, rated one of the top players in the country, high school All-American and all that stuff. But unfortunately, I had a knee injury early on in 11th grade. So I always empathize with guys whenever they have tough injuries, and witnessing yours was no different. I feel connected to this. In 11th grade, my life changed when I tore my left ACL and MCL.
Mhm.
And that was a hard road to recovery to bounce back. But I still was able to go play Division I basketball at Winthrop University,
Mhm.
and for 2 years, and I transferred to Florida International University. And then the week before arriving to my new campus, a guy took me out of the air playing pickup ball back home, and I tore the right ACL.
Mm.
And then that was a 10-month recovery and coming back, and I still bounced back. And just showed resilience, and then eventually started taking international basketball jobs, minor league basketball jobs, and that's what landed me out in LA. But I had always been acting all the way through the process. It's probably since eighth grade I started taking acting serious when I was taking acting classes from like eighth to 12th grade and
Mm-hmm.
doing spoken word in college. And so I always kind of balanced the two, but basketball was the main thing and the thing that I knew that was going to lead to more opportunities, acting and just business wise, and travel experiences and all that stuff.
No, I got you. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hell of a journey, and like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's your journey just getting started. So, but we're gonna rewind a little bit back. I know you said
Cool.
that you played soccer, and that was probably like the other first sport that you hooped. Now, did you and by the way, just to let you know, like I understand that military circuit. My father was in the military too. We was in the Air Force. Actually, like he was in Germany. My mom went to Germany. She was like 6 months pregnant or something, and then flew back. And then, my pops, we moved from Germany to North Dakota. And so we was in North Dakota, which was the coldest place on the planet, seemed like. You know what I'm saying? So I was out there when I was super young, and then we
Yeah.
we finished when I was in Sacramento. So we went to Travis Air Force Base in Sacramento. So I understand like the moving around and things like that in the military life. But
Mm-hmm. For sure.
um, you know, I want to say like I know that since you moved around a lot, did you play AAU basketball? Was that a part of your life? And how did you choose the high school that you eventually went to?
Yeah, I played AAU basketball since I was like 11. I mostly had played up. So I think the first team was like 12U. Me and my best friend tried out for the team, and we was the last two people to make the team. But we was also the two youngest on the team. But
Right.
we was literally the last two called out. We was like standing there, like by each other, just like hoping that we got called, or like hoping that we both got called. You know what I'm saying? That was my man's like
Right.
we ain't really even want to be on the team if we had to be separated. So we made it as some young bucks, and that was cool. We was with the Fayetteville Martins. That was our first time going on the road, traveling to Raleigh, traveling to Charlotte. We was they having our own hotel room. You know what I mean? That was the early days. And then, middle school it started getting a bit more serious and starting to travel some more. And I actually spent eighth grade in Germany. So I actually played for a German club in the eighth grade. I practiced with the varsity, but they wouldn't. It was like a rule that middle schoolers couldn't play. But anyway, I used to practice with the varsity, and that was a good opportunity. But playing in that German club was crucial for me because it was like AAU, but it was German. You know what I'm saying? And so getting that international experience early like helped diversify my game like a lot. And then we had an international team where basically all the best kids from the surrounding bases like created this sick squad. And so we went to France and played in the international tournament, and we went to Belgium and played in an international tournament. And then by the time I got back to the US for high school, I mostly played with the Raleigh Razorbacks, and they
Mm-hmm.
was an Adidas sponsored team. Back then, I mean, Adidas still cracking, but back then, Kobe had just went through Adidas, Antoine Walker, and all those dudes. Even LeBron was Adidas. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
that Brown was ABCD camp.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny Cook and Eddie Curry, Kwame Brown, like Adidas was cracking, bro. Gerald Wallace, like so the Bob Givens days, the Charlie Weber days, the Pump and Run days, the Adidas Big Time. You know what I mean? That was an exciting time.
Oh,
College recruitment, you come in the gym and it's like freaking 100 coaches lined up on the walls. The energy is cracking. Dudes is getting dunked on. Like, I miss that energy. And I mean, my
man.
son is in it now, so I get to experience to see it. But like as a hooper, though, those is like some of the best times for sure.
For sure, man. Like I said, I for 100% for sure. I remember those days, like you said, like I went to Nike camp, but T Mac was Adidas. I remember that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adidas was cracking. It still is relatively cracking. It still got people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, going the AAU route, you get to do those certain things. So obviously you were one of the top players in the state of of Raleigh.
I
Uh,
was in North Carolina in high
no,
school.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
reached number 1 status at some point in time before that knee injury. I
mm-hmm.
had the number 1 spot for a little bit, top 30 nationally, that type of thing.
What would you say? I mean, I know, like I said, the AAU thing was big for you, but what would you say your most memorable moment in high school was?
Most memorable moment of high school, um, dunking from the free throw line was crazy because I did it off 2 feet, and it was kind of like this, like at the time, like this mythical thing that happened, but it really did. Playing with some of the guys that I had the opportunity to play with, get to measure up against guys like Chris Wilcox, who's with the Raleigh Razorbacks, Amari Stoudemire was with the Mount Zion Christian Academy, Jared Jack was at Mount Zion Christian Academy. So, but playing against guys like James White, you know what I mean, before he like really, really took off. Some of these other stars, getting to see guys like Andre Barrett up close. I was in awe of these players, but I was on the court holding my own as well, but just the collective amount of talent that I got to witness at all of these tournaments was just like crazy. Seeing the Tim Thomas players, like freaking DeMar Johnson up close, you know what I mean? Like these guys are phenomenal.
So, what made you choose the college that you went to? And what do you remember most about your first year?
Uh, so I was a high major guy, and I hurt my knee, and it was a really tough road to recovery, man. It was hard, but I was able to get myself in good enough shape that I had a lot. I still had a significant amount of mid majors on me. You know what I mean? But like before, it was like, am I going to like Syracuse, Carolina, Charlotte, Arkansas? You know what I mean? Like, but then it turned into like, well, the schools with the most interest, like on the high side, I guess would be like East Carolina. But like, I could have went almost any mid major from Virginia to South Carolina. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at the Winthrops of the world, the William and Marys, the American University, Appalachian State, Furman, all those type of schools, right? And early on in high school, it was like I used to like low key chuck that mail, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, bro, I was like, yo, I'm never going here. So
Okay, 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 okay.
yo, but God find a way to humble you sometimes, son.
Right, right. Like,
Yeah, but
well, you
the
might be
thing,
coming here, son.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember seeing Winter make the third NCAA tournament. I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, I'm not going there. It's fine. And then like when it came down to it, like they was heavy, and one of the reasons that they was in the mix because they had won 3 conference championships in a row, so they were the most winning program in the mix for me. They talked a good game. They definitely wined and dined me on my visit. That's a fact. It was by Charlotte, so I was like, all right, cool. I got a city right here to do my thing. It wasn't that far from the crib. From Fayetteville, it's probably like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours to get to the crib. And they was winning ball games. So I was, I only had a couple like contingencies or whatever. Like I was like, I wasn't gonna stay in the freshman dorm. And then like there was like maybe one other thing. And then shoot, I went ahead and signed up and went over there.
Okay.
The first year, it was hard. Like
What was the
I
hardest
had a
thing?
hard, strong, tough work ethic, but I played for a crazy coach, man. It's well documented how crazy he is and was. And we ran a lot, bro. We ran a lot.
Okay.
Everybody had some lower body problem because of the amount of running that we had to do. But I learned a lot for sure because that was one thing. Greg Marshall was going to run you and he was going to educate you. So
No, I got
learned a
you.
lot that year.
I got you. What would you say your biggest triumph was and biggest failure was in college?
I did wind up starting as a freshman. I didn't start every game as a freshman, but I started my first. That was a goal to start like my first college basketball game, and I did do that. I was mad though because I had to start at the 5, and I just was like, bro. But at the same time, like I'm starting, but I'm like, bro, I'm starting at center. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 6'6", dog. You know what I mean? I mean, I got these shoulders, and back then I had a lot of bounce, but I really wasn't trying to play the 5, fam. But
No.
I still did crack the starting lineup at the 5, so whatever. We won the conference championship there, but man, Coach Marshall was a very difficult player to coach to play for. I was coming off a knee injury, and I did struggle with confidence at times. And so my older self, I wish you know, if I could have got myself in a better position, more relaxed state of mind. You know what I mean? Like I really felt like I kind of succumbed to anxiety. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Around
Mm-hmm.
that time, you know what I mean? Scared to make mistakes type of situation because I played for the maniac. And if you did make a mistake, you know what I mean? You was gonna pay for it then later somehow, but he ain't really let too much slide, bro.
No, I feel you. I feel you. What would you say the biggest lesson you learned in college?
Um, how to balance social life, school
Yeah.
life, basketball life. You know, there's a lot of responsibility on student athletes. And I was also involved in campus and I like to have fun too. So just all of those things, just finding your way through life and just trying to be a young man, have fun, but take care of your responsibilities, be successful on the court. So that work ethic and that balance, I definitely learned that. And then,
Mm.
that stuff was crucial.
Okay. Okay. So I would say this: you have a successful college career, obviously going to the tournament, winning those kind of things. Like after college, uh, what was the next thing for you? Were you thinking about NBA? Were you thinking about overseas? Were you thinking about G League? What was going on with that?
So, an interesting fact. I mean, a lot of people don't really know this, and I don't know if my personality says it, but either way, I was a redshirt junior, probably about 17 games into my junior year. I was controversially dismissed from the team. And so I was on track to graduate because it was my 4th year, you know what I'm saying? But I had another year eligibility. The rest of the season, then another year eligibility. And I just got back from the knee injury, and I had got back into the starting lineup and I was a team captain. And, this thing between my coach and I don't know, but my career is kind of abruptly ended, and I could have transferred and went other places, to a D2 or whatever. But I just didn't want to do that. And plus, I actually really wanted to graduate from FIU because I loved the school. And I couldn't like graduate there and transfer to a top D2. I think I was burnt out on like trying to go to another D1, so I could have played football. The football team had offered me a scholarship. But I just came off of 2 knee injuries, bro. Like, I was kind of cool on that. Like, early on, they would have caught me maybe before that. But after that second injury, I was like, nah, football's not happening. But I was interested because I performed. I could do all the combine stuff very well and I could lift with the best of the guys. But I just didn't see that for myself. Well, so I actually started my TV career. I kind of sat around for about a week or so trying to figure out what was next and what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I got an agent. I went to this acting experience thing, like I paid for it and went. I was interested and I had the experience from high school. And that's one reason why I transferred to Miami, because I had an eye on the entertainment career. And
Mm.
so after the fools kicked me off the team, man, I kind of was like, what I'm gonna do. And then I'm about to graduate almost with honors. I had good grades. And yeah, I just picked up my extracurriculars. I started taking the poetry more serious. I found the agent, started doing acting. doing basketball commercials with Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal in Miami, modeling, working background on a TV show called South Beach. And that was like that situation, basically forced me into the next thing. But I still stayed in shape to hoop. So somebody hit me. I was playing ball in Miami with all those guys down in Miami, Tim Hardaway and Glenn Rice and Mitch Richmond, all the retired dudes and the up and coming dudes like Robert Height and Guillermo Diaz that was over at the University of Miami and the overseas guys.
I remember
And
Guillermo
somebody
Diaz. I remember him. But go ahead. Yeah.
super bunnies, super fast bunny Puerto Rican dude. Who else? Jimmy Graham was over there at the University in Miami too.
Yep.
He was a
Basketball
freak of
and
nature.
football. Yeah, basketball
Freak
and
of nature, that guy, for real. And somebody asked me one day, it was like, yo, Shell, you want to go to Ecuador? And I was like, he wasn't paying that much, but you can get your career started. And I was like, bet, I'm out. And I took I slid down to Ecuador and started hooping. I just made sure I got the footage. And then I went to the USBL in Brooklyn. I made that training camp and made that team. And I had an opportunity. It was like go to Denmark, Luxembourg, the D League, or the CBA. I felt like the CBA was less political at the time, but it was basically all sense of purposes the same thing. At that time, it still was. I won Jamario Moon was on my team, went to the league.
Oh
Felipe
yeah, 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 yeah,
Lopez.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Moon
of
was
course. Yeah, yeah,
Felipe
yeah.
Lopez was making the comeback. Sean Higgins was making the comeback. And I had some
John
other guys that
Higgins.
was,
Yeah.
but that was like, now you go to training camp with like 30 guys, like you the last of the Mohicans, like you gotta knock dudes off. For real, like every day is like getting smaller and smaller. Like it was like the freaking one of them like MTV challenges or something. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody getting sent home, bro. But it ain't nothing like being the last man standing, fam, and making the team, bro. Seeing everybody else go to the crib, and you like we wanted three rookies. You know what I'm saying? One of three rookies to be in the building to make it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see had some close homies get sent to the crib, and so going through a real training camp, and both of them was in New York, USBL, Brooklyn Kings, and Albany Patroon, made those. And eventually I came out to LA playing for the Hollywood Fame. And that's what got me out in LA.
Okay, okay. So you're playing in the, like CBA, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. Because funny thing is, people don't remember Matt played in the ABA for a minute, to get, and then he went from like ABA to the Clippers, you know.
Oh, he went to the D League. They just posted it the other day.
Oh no,
From the
yeah, he might have went.
family,
Oh
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
on
yeah,
my hometown team. He was on the Fayetteville
yeah,
Patriots.
yeah, yeah. He went to
Mm-hmm.
like ABA, D League, then Clippers.
Yep.
So like,
Yep.
yeah, like I remember that. Like I was thinking about doing the D League then, but my boy
Mm-hmm.
Rock Lloyd was like, nah, nigga, you pay, you getting 2,200 and you staying in a room with like three or
Yeah.
four other dudes in Willacoochee, Georgia. Nothing against Willacoochee. But I
That
was
sound
like,
like the what was it? The low gators, the something low gators.
yeah.
I don't know what that. At first, that was a terrible name.
Right, right. No, seriously. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna just go overseas and hoop, like go get that money.
Yeah, I mean, money wise, it's kind of around the same. Like Luxembourg, Denmark, maybe I was gonna make a little bit more bread. But my son was being born too, and so going
Mm.
overseas, I was gonna miss like his birth. Like
No, of
so,
course, of course, of course.
the CBA, I was like, well, there's a little less money than overseas, but I'm gonna be at the crib. I'm gonna get to see my son be born. I got to report to training camp like 2 weeks after. Like, bet I'll do the CBA. You know what I'm saying? Plus the CBA bread was like, it was actually all right. And I knew it was like less chances of me having to deal with the politics of the league, like somebody getting cut from an NBA team and then I have to get released or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have
No,
to
yeah,
deal with
that
those
happened a lot.
politics.
That definitely happened a lot. So I feel you.
Yeah, that joke was whack. And I didn't like the old title, the D League anyways. It felt like it was like some D-list players, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool. I'm best. I definitely like the G League better than the D League. Like, dang. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
These are the D players that can't get to the league.
Now I feel you, my bro. I straight up feel you. I would say, you know, so you did the CBA thing, and obviously you thought about overseas. You did the Ecuador thing. Um, After the CBA thing, what happened?
I actually switched teams to go to the ABA. So my best friend Justin Johnson, you might remember him from back in the day from the Spectrum too.
Mm.
He kind of like the little version of you. Like he's like he light skinned with freckles. He's like a mini you, basically.
I got you,
For
bro. I
sure.
got you.
You're like opposite twins. But anyways,
No, I
so
got you. I got you.
we had the same agent. And so
Mm,
I had to take a pay cut, but I knew it was gonna get me in LA. And he
mm-hmm,
had an audition for the movie Semi Pro. So it was like, yo, go out to LA, you get on in the movie Semi Pro and or get on with the Hollywood Fame. I got on with the Hollywood Fame, and that said, that set me up. And then probably about 6 months after the season, I wound up getting drafted to go to China, and then so I slid to China. But in between, I had started getting the commercials and basketball, like TV stuff going on in
mm-hmm.
between. So by the time I got back from China, I like landed a commercial like right after I got home, and that like kind of like set me up. Honestly, between the China bread and that Kool-Aid commercial, like I was kind of like, all right, cool. And then I took maybe like one more gig, but then I got on Shameless as an actor. So after that, between my son
Oh.
and like me actually landing on an established show, not as a basketball player at all, like gave me the confidence that actually I can be a for real actor. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like when I stopped going overseas. I took one more situation in Taiwan, and I was over there for like a month or some change, but I had to come back for my son and look out because otherwise, like it was like some custody, you know what I mean, mess going on with that. So I had to make
I feel you
had
on
to
that
make a
too. I feel you on that. So yeah.
I had to make a choice, bro. You know what I mean? So little man came up, you know what I mean? Then I did one more run like over out in Lebanon like a couple years later, but I stayed sharp, played in the Drew League, played in the Venice Beach League, doing Red Bull competitions, Red Bull King of the Rock. Like I qualified for the World Championships like 4 years in a row.
Was
Doing
that the
that. That
one
was
on one? Is
small
that the
bag.
one on one one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I only one I remember I saw one on TV with Aaron Maxey. He had one for California, and yeah, and then obviously he lost to the dude who actually won the whole thing. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember that one on
Yep.
one thing. So that's cool, man. Like I said, it's a heck of a try. That's like the fact that you were still hooping, even though you was really acting. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy, man. Like usually people say I'm gonna do one or the other, and once I start acting, I'm acting. I ain't hooping no more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you was doing it in a mix of both. Um, Now you said you was on Shameless.
Yeah, man.
Were
That was
you
my
that? I'm trying to think. Were you that tall dude, like the bodyguard to the little white dude?
Nah,
That was like,
people ask me that often. I was before him. I was the one that dated Mandy. So Mandy and Lip broke up. And then in season 4, I was the boyfriend. I was the black boyfriend that Mandy had that showed up. And so, I chased Lip through the college campus and did all that. I allegedly, beat Mandy. I got caught with the Russian prostitute. You know what I mean? I was on the wilding.
well, you know how them Showtime shows is, man. Them Showtime shows be
Oh,
wild.
brother, yeah. Trust me.
No,
Trust me.
now
I
you gotta be
know.
like, I'm gonna just type in season 4 and find you.
Yeah. Sheldon Bailey, Shameless. Like, I got 9 episodes under my belt on that show.
Okay, that's so cool, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's so cool. So you're acting in Shameless, you're acting, on different shows and things like that, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously you have your son, so it's like a balance in between acting and hooping
Yeah.
and all that. I mean, not acting, hooping, but acting and being a dad. So my question for you is this: like, what would be your best advice for like the next you? Like, say your son, for example, you said he hooping. What would be your best advice to him?
Well, I've raised my son, trained and managed my son to, I guess, more or less be a better version of me, to be honest with you.
Right.
And so I teach him versatility. I teach him to not be afraid of opportunities, to be able to be willing to step out of his comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I teach him work ethic because that's crucial. The love for travel, because interacting with people and experiencing the world in different places and different ways really helps broaden your horizons, and I think helps make life truly worth living. Some of the things that you get to experience from traveling are, some of the most rewarding, things that you get in this life. So, not being afraid to step out there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Go out there, put your best foot forward, and try for some of these special opportunities. To some of the things that people think are so far fetched. Sometimes when you get into that arena, you get close. Like, hey, you know what? It's not as crazy as you thought it was.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's some hell of advice, man. So,
Appreciate it.
now obviously when you had when you hung it up, when you had a better opportunity and like living a different life with hoops, do you miss ever like did you ever at one point did you ever miss hooping overseas? Not now, obviously, but like did you miss hooping overseas, CBA, anything like that? Like when you
Um,
retired?
Sometimes I feel like I quit too early. You know what I mean? I kind of stopped really pursuing it seriously about 25. I still was in the mix, and even like I just was playing in the game one time. Somebody asked me to go to Taiwan. They asked me to play against some ABA guys preseason. And the scout scouted me, and I was going in like a week. You know what I'm saying? Like I could really hoop. I don't know. Just my heart wasn't in it the same for a while. Probably jaded with knee injuries and
Yeah,
coaches and
yeah.
different opportunity things like that. So sometimes I feel like maybe I tapped out just a little too early. I could have. I always could make a team. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to get on a run well enough to really get into an NBA training camp, but I was pretty confident if I would have been able to get on one, it would have been all good. In the summer, I was supposed to go with the Houston Rockets for summer league and had a meniscus tear. Things like that
Yeah,
continue to
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, you know what? I just don't think
It's
it's
not
for
in the
me.
cards. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
the
got
talent is there, but just other things not really in place. And it's okay. But hey, man, I really use this basketball thing to propel me, as far as I can in life and utilize it. From working with LeBron James all these years to being his body double to even now the television show I'm on. Yeah, I portray a serious. I'm a serious actor, and we're dealing with serious issues. But at the end of the day, like I start as DeAndre Jordan, who is a professional basketball player.
you.
So my ability to play basketball and my ability to act, all merge in one. And to me, that's an incredible blessing to be able to do both, and that kind of justifies or helps validate me a bit inside. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't
Mhm,
make it to the
mhm.
league, but I played in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Nah, I got you. I got you, bro. So this would be like the last question I got for you, and then
I bet.
we'll do some other stuff.
All
I
right.
won't.
Well, this percentage is getting low, by the way.
All
So I don't want to cut
right.
off, but it's cool.
No, I got you. So,
All right.
one point of our in our career life, we go through low points, and I wanted to know, like, for yourself, how did you get out of your low point? Was it God? Was it family? Was it both? You know, how did you get out
Yeah.
of your low point?
Well, that's interesting because my family is very faithful and very rooted in faith. So I would say my family and God, because the two are basically synonymous. Because my relationship with God is definitely connected to my family, and they are the people that are very encouraging when I am down or whatever. And I just really like learned to lean on them, and I leaned on them so much and leaned on God so much. And now that I have very just strong confidence just in general, in what's going on in my life, and knowing that things are going to be all right for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And continuing to push, and but also really be appreciative of the things that I have done and the time that I have right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I want to say thank you, Sheldon. I mean, I appreciate you, brother, for coming on the
Mm-hmm.
show.
For sure.
Um, I want you to shout out, like what you're doing right now. Obviously, I know you told me, but please
Cool.
let the people know what's going on with you. Like, you
Word.
go from the LeBron James body double to what you're doing now.
Yeah. Hey, this is Sheldon Bailey, and I'm on an athlete's journey with Travis Reed. You can catch me on the new series, Clipped, starring as DeAndre Jordan. That's coming out on FX and Hulu. We got a short film premiering at Tribeca Film Festival, one of the biggest and best film festivals in the world. June 10th, we'll be doing that. Um, yeah, man. Other than that, just continuing to will and deal and take care of my kid, who is a top high school basketball player and a star in his own right. As well, he has a part in Clipped. He's also in White Men Can't Jump 2. And yeah, man, we out here, baby. Follow me at Big Shell Bailey on IG and Shell Bailey on Twitter. That's Shell with one L. New music coming out. The song Colors drops this Friday. That's Shell Bailey on the YouTube. Shell Bailey on all your music platforms, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. Google Sheldon Bailey, Shell Bailey. It's your boy.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you said, Sheldon, man, like I said, all love and respect for what you're doing. Like your story is one of super success that athletes need to hear that, even if it's 25, 35, 45, whenever you retire, whenever you move to the next thing, you can be super successful and moving on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just
For
want to
sure.
say appreciate you.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, I'm not a movie star like Sheldon, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying, but doing this thing. But you can follow me at Travis W. Reed on Instagram. That's Travis W. REED on Instagram and Facebook. I post all my social media on both sites. Um, Also, if you want to, like I said, like, share, subscribe to Athlete's Journey on YouTube. The link will always be in the description. You can click the link, like I said, just subscribe to the channel, like interviews like this and many more, where you can watch them. And also, like I said, I'll post them in my post them on my stories and things like that on my social media. So, and if you still looking for that Athlete's Journey merch, which I'm seeing right now, just feel free to DM or message me, and I will personally send out, shirts and things like that to you with a thank you message. Maybe not
Yeah.
everybody, but like some, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Yeah.
talk to y'all later. See y'all
I
next week.
appreciate you, Trav.
Peace.